Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to 8 Ball Sports, and this is going to be the post-game analysis for the LSU-Florida game, which was a real exciting one, a really good SEC matchup. The second post-game analysis video I do today, if you did not see the first one, it was over the Texas-Oklahoma game, which was obviously a really exciting game, so be sure to go check that one out. LSU-Florida. Two teams I would say that for the past 5 years have really struggled on offense, but their defense has stayed consistent. They've both been around the top 25 the past, couple years because of their defense. LSU has really not found a good quarterback since Jamarcus Russell. Florida really hasn't found one since Tim Tebow. And, I really did think Joe Burrow was going to be that guy, and he still could be the guy, but he struggled today. There's no doubt about that. And I don't necessarily think Felipe Franks is the guy for Florida, but I do believe Dan Mullen is the guy that can improve that offense enough to get them where they want to be in, playoff contention, SEC contention. So, I have a stat line here for LSU. Joe Burrow, 19 of 34, 192 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not a great day. Completion percentage pretty low, a little bit above 50%. Didn't hit 200 yards, didn't throw a touchdown. And the 2 interceptions, including pretty much the game ender with a pick 6 in the final couple minutes. Brissett rushing 15 carries, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was basically their only source of offense on the day. Jefferson was their leading receiver. Their leading receiver had 51 yards, so that just kind of goes to show how bad their passing offense was today. Jefferson, 3 catches, 51 yards, and of course no touchdowns. They were 2 for 2 on field goals. And that's obviously how they got 19. They also went for 2 and did not get it. For Florida, Felipe Franks, 12 of 27, which is an abysmal completion percentage. Less than 50 is pretty bad. 161 yards, a touchdown and interception. Not a necessarily impressive stat line, but rushing the ball is what Florida does, and it's what they did well. 17 carries, 85 yards, 2 scores for P. Ryan, and then Scarlett had 14 carries, 65 yards. So they over 30 carries combined and around 150 yards for him. Actually, I think right at 150 yards for him. Yeah, right at 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. So they ran the ball really effective. 5 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns was enough to get them the win. Receiving, Hammond had 3 catches for 88 yards, no touchdown. And Stevens had 2 catches, 11 yards, but did have the lone receiving touchdown for Florida. So neither stat line really, stands out. Neither quarterback really had a great day. No running back was a 100-yard rusher. Both of their running backs did have 2 touchdowns, so the rushing game was going. Again, both these defenses are really good. It's been the strengths for both these teams for a little bit here, past couple seasons, and the strength for the teams as well. For LSU, I do think Joe Burrow is a really good quarterback, and I'm a little biased because he did come from Ohio State. But I do believe he's a talented quarterback. I think he could lead LSU. I don't think today was the great day. I feel like the protection kind of let him down. Seemed like he was getting pressured quite a lot. But that's also, give credit to Florida's defense for causing him to be uncomfortable, make bad decisions with the football, and he wasn't able to lead him down the field to get in scoring position on that final drive. For Florida, offensively, again, not necessarily a pretty day for Franks, under 50% completion percentage, but he got the job done. He did throw a touchdown. They did the little Philly special thing where he caught a 15-yard pass. He didn't make as many mistakes as Joe Burrow, and that's what won him the game. So this is going to be interesting. Normally at the end of these, after I do all the stats, I go into what does this mean for both teams. And since they're both in the SEC, since it's a conference game, it does kind of, this win impacts them and also impacts the SEC. For me, this is big in the SEC East because now it's a 3-team race between Kentucky, Florida, and Georgia. I don't think Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Missouri, Tennessee, I don't think they're going to do much. Tennessee is god-awful. Vanderbilt struggled against Tennessee State last week. They looked okay against Notre Dame. Missouri, South Carolina, both played a solid game today, but I don't think they're going to be, in contention for winning that division. Kentucky's surprising everyone. Florida obviously lost to Kentucky, but they're still fighting. Because Kentucky still has to play Georgia. And obviously that's going to be a tough opponent for Kentucky. So if Georgia beats Kentucky, Florida beats Georgia, each team has 1 loss. Who makes it out? I don't know. It really hurts LSU's playoff chances because they are on the tougher side of the SEC, at least in my opinion. I think that's pretty much everyone's opinion. The SEC West. where you got Auburn, Alabama, LSU this year obviously has stood out. But you're going to have to beat Bama now, or you're going to have to hope Bama. You have to beat Bama, basically. And they play Bama in 4 weeks. They play Georgia next week. They play Mississippi State. They have a bye week, and then they play Bama. So it's not for a little bit. I think it's probably the first game in November, if I added that up correctly. But they have to win out, and they have a tough schedule. They play Georgia next week. And if you're a Florida-Kentucky fan, you have to be rooting for LSU in that game. You need Georgia to already go ahead and get that loss. If Florida wants to win the SEC East, they're going to hope that LSU can upset Georgia next week. Florida plays Georgia on the 27th of October, which will be another exciting game, another one that determines that SEC East, because, again, right now it's shaping out to be there. And then Kentucky plays them the week after. So Georgia has a tough schedule here. They play LSU next week. I don't know who they play the next week. Maybe they have a bye week. They play Florida, Kentucky. So, in 4 weeks they're playing 3 ranked teams all in one. And it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for them. But this is not a video about Georgia. This is about the game. It wasn't pretty by either team. It was a grinder game, but Florida they got the victory, and that's all that I don't really have much else to say. It wasn't pretty. There weren't any huge flashy plays. Their defense got the job done. They forced the turnovers. Their offense did enough. I think if Florida or LSU wants to take that next step and win the SEC and make it to the playoffs, then I think they have to improve on offense. For LSU, I think Joe Burrow is good. I don't know if he's good enough. I did not love I don't know. I don't think LSU's offense is there. And I don't think Florida's offense is there by any means either. But you give Dan Mullen a couple years. We saw what he did at Mississippi State with Dak Prescott, with Nick Fitzgerald, setting records over there for Mississippi State. I believe Dan Mullen can lead the offense in the right direction if he can hopefully keep the defense where they are already. If Florida's defense can stay where they are, then in 2 years when Mullen's recruited guys he wants that fit into his scheme a little bit better, and he's taught the guys that are already here his scheme, the way he wants to do things, this could be a dangerous offense. I do believe Dan Mullen is a good coach for Florida. It was a good hire. I just don't think they have the pieces yet. I don't think Felipe Franks is a Dak Prescott or a Nick Fitzgerald. I think P. Ryan's a solid running back. I think Scarlett's a solid running back. I don't think either of them are going to be, Derrick Henry carrying Bama or any other example of a running back really being that main guy for a team. The receiving core, I really don't know too much about the receiving core, so I'm not going to really speak on that. No one really stood out to me in today's game, and no one really stood on the stat line. So, it was a interesting game. I was watching the Ohio State game and this game at the same time, so it was kind of back and forth. So if I did miss something, I do apologize for that, but I was watching my team play. And if you're about to comment something, hey, you're an Ohio State fan, why are you doing this? I love college football. I say this in almost all of my post-game analysis videos because I don't want to get all the comments about how I know nothing because I'm an Ohio State fan. I keep the ones that are not about Ohio State unbiased, or at least I try to. That's at least my goal. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button. It really would mean a lot. Please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Who do you have winning the SEC East and why? Do you have Georgia, who right now looks like to be the favorite? Do you have Kentucky, the underdog, or do you have Florida, who, they're not really the underdog. I'd say they're the middle team. I'd put it Georgia, Florida, Kentucky, but Kentucky beat Florida. So maybe Kentucky is that middle team. But in my opinion, Kentucky's surprising everyone this year. So let me know that down in the comment section down below. And subscribe to the channel. This is my second one, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video today. I do these weekly, and I think I'm going to do one over the Notre Dame game, Notre Dame Virginia Tech game, later tonight if I stay up and watch that, which I assume I will. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and check that video out. I'll see you guys later.